Hey y'all, so I'm out in the rabbit barn. I need to feed everybody, but I want to talk about our plans for breeding the goats. Even though it feels like spring is such a long way away, breeding season is almost here. Someone gave me a tip, and that was to raise up this feeder so maybe they'll stop digging their food out. Wouldn't that be good? You could actually eat your food. Just came from the coop because there was no eggs out there, so figured they were probably hiding them. Oh look, I found eggs. All right, well I just grabbed our grain for the buck, and yes, buck singular. We sold Becker. He went up to a farm in South Carolina, so you know, a couple 100 miles from here. Anyways, he's gonna be a beautiful herd sire, so I'm excited for him. Our border collie mix, Cooper, has been keeping Mordecai company because, you know, he's by himself. Here, Morty. Cooper, no. There you go. Hello, Ada. Pharaoh, that's not for you. It's goat food. Pharaoh, leave it. Good boy. There you go, good girls. Pharaoh spent his first night off of the tether, and he did great. He didn't go out of the perimeter. He stayed with his girls, so I'm very, very proud of him. Being such a good boy. Thank you for standing here with me. You're so nice. Yeah. Just a quick recap, if you're new here and you don't know our herd, we have 4 does and 1 buck. The 4 does are 3 La Mancha, Selah, Sabella, and Zimri, and then we have Ada, who is an Alpine. When we were trying to decide who to breed when, the things that I needed to keep in mind were that Zimri is young, and she's gonna need a longer time to mature before we breed her. Ada, I have never had babies from her before, so I don't know what she's like as a mom. So those were the main concerns that we needed to keep track of. Selah, she had her triplets this year, and she did amazing. I didn't need to help with the birth or help feed any of the babies, so I know she's a good solid doe. With Sabella, I know that she also can deliver on her own. She also produces more than enough milk for her babies. That also means that there's a possibility that as soon as Sabella kids, I might have to start milking her, which is what happened this year. Since we only have 1 buck, deciding who is breeding who really isn't a problem. The thing we have to decide is who is getting bred when. So here is my plan. Actually very, very soon, like within a couple of weeks, we're going to put Ada and Selah in with the buck. Hopefully they'll get bred that first go around, but we're gonna leave them in the pen with him for 2 whole months. A lot of people like to be a little bit more hands-on, know exactly when their goats are gonna kid, but because I'm home all the time, it's not as much of a concern. I'm not gonna be going out of town or even going to work during the day. It'll be okay. I can come out and check on them frequently, and I know what signs to look for. So I'm not too concerned about that part. So for July and August, Selah and Ada will be in with Mordecai. Selah was really sick. She got really thin on us, and we had to give her a lot of special treatment, but she's really, really coming out of it now. I am keeping a close eye, and I'm going to keep a really close eye once she's bred, but I think she's good to go. Hi. You coming to check me out? So some of the things we have to keep in mind with Zimri is that she's a good bit younger. She's only about 6 months old. It is normal to breed does when they're about 8 months old, but I think we're gonna hold off and breed her at about 10 months. We are going to be breeding Zimri to a much smaller buck. He's also La Mancha, but he's La Mancha Nigerian. So he's about as big as she is now, but she has about 4 more months to grow before we actually breed her. Something else that I needed to keep in mind was if Zimri ends up not being a very good mom, if she doesn't want to nurse her babies, I need to have a backup plan. So that backup plan is Sabella. I'm gonna breed them at the exact same time. If Zimri has babies and doesn't do well with them, I know Sabella makes a lot of milk, probably enough so that I could milk her and bottle feed babies if I had to. So to have March babies-ish, we're gonna be putting in Zimri and Sabella with Mordecai for November and December. Do you guys just like the AC or something? Does it make good noises? I don't know what the deal is. Why are you obsessed? Now, I explained why we wanted to have Zimri and Sabella go together, just because if Zimri doesn't produce well, I have a really good producer right there with her. In kind of similar circumstance with, oh, where are they? With Selah and Ada. Ada hasn't had kids with us before. She has had kids before, but I don't know anything about that experience. If she was a good mom, if she has hard deliveries. She's so big and our buck is so small, I don't think it's gonna be bad. But it's just something to think about. Now, Selah, on the other hand, she was a great mom. I didn't have to worry about her at all. So if I have to worry about Ada, I really don't want to have to worry about anybody else. So that's why we're splitting up the questionable moms with the really good moms. Hi. Hey, Zim. Does that feel nice right there? Is that good? Is that good scratchy stuff? I am really excited for this breeding year. We're also gonna do something really interesting that I did not know about. For any dairy breed, you can register them through the ADGA. If their appearance is like standard for their breed, you can register them, which I did not know. So we're actually gonna be doing that for Selah and for Sabella, which means that Zimri will actually be registered because her dad was registered. It's a whole really complicated thing. There's different levels of registration. My does will only be grade, but eventually their babies will be purebred. So we're gonna be breeding up after this year. Because we have a buck who isn't registered, their babies aren't gonna be registered this year. But I'm not too worried about that. If you want to learn more about the whole registering goats that aren't registered, you can check out the ADGA website. I'll link it down in the description. It's called Native on Appearance or Native on Performance. There's two different ways you can do it. So breeding season for us is just like pretty much a week away. We're gonna be putting in the first 2 does. I'm really excited because that means babies are gonna be on the way. We are going to be running a full panel on all of our does, one to check for diseases, but also to check for pregnancies. So we'll do that after the girls have been in with the buck for a while. I'm really excited to get started on breeding season, and then, you know, there's babies. Babies are coming, so that's always really exciting. If you enjoyed hanging out in our little corner of YouTube today, please consider liking, sharing, or commenting down below. This just tells the YouTube algorithm that, you know, you enjoyed this video and that it should show it to other people. And it's a really non-committal way of supporting us. Now, if you feel like committing, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. And that just means you're gonna get a little pop-up every time we put out a new video. If you'd like to get to know us on a little bit more personal of a level and get more regular updates on things, you can check us out on Instagram. I post there on a daily basis. If not an actual post, then I'm updating our stories very regularly, so you can see things as they're happening instead of on YouTube where there's, you know, usually a delay. Thanks for helping me think out loud and get my breeding planning schedule stuff done today. Until we meet again, bye y'all.